Hey, guys, you all happy now? Everything good now? Is that how this goes?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Steelers 27, Ravens 22 here at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. He's Chris Halicke. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. We're from DK Pittsburgh Sports. This was an unusual game for a December first-place tilt, but then these teams walked into this in an unusual framework, really. Both being 6-6, both of them not really being very good. Thanks to the Ohio teams, that allows you to compete for first place in the AFC North. I don't think either of them were very good today. However, one of them ended up on top. Mm-hmm. One of them did not.
Yeah, I think the Steelers, well, they played better than they did last week, and I don't think you can play much worse than you played last.
There's the bar.
Yeah, it's not much of a bar. But they played better, at least for the first half. And I would even say first three quarters, they played pretty well. The third quarter was definitely, they at least got points on that first drive coming out of halftime. That's important. That's something this team has not done very often this year. And yeah, they could have gone a lot, like the offense could have been a lot better than 3 straight 3-and-outs when you could have just put the game on ice. Instead, you let the Ravens hang in there, but the defense stood tall. They made some plays. They made a couple stops on fourth down, and then obviously Alex Highsmith puts the nail in the coffin with the sack on Lamar Jackson at the end.
Yeah, and Tomlin called that the play of the day, and I'm going to tell you that there were a lot of different pieces of praise being passed around in that atmosphere down there. Part of that atmosphere was just before the locker room opened. My goodness, there was some music and screaming and all kinds of, maybe it'll end up on social media later. I don't know. Marcus Allen's not on the team anymore. But it was boom, 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 whatever. And trust me, they aren't taking this one hard. If you're holding on to last week, whatever, if Chris and I are, that's all in the outside world. Everything that happened to them last week, and of course this is absurd, but they're blaming on the media. That's a thing, okay? Patrick Queen, who has the greatest relationship with the media of any Steeler in history, said it was a media thing. I mean, the fans start, but okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We were all there, right? Aaron Rodgers said maybe the media will shut the hell, maybe you guys will shut the hell up for a week, meaning us. And he had a little bit of a smile on his face, and his eyebrows went up when he said it, like he knew he was, he wasn't being super serious with it. But that's the way they're thinking about the way all of this bounced back, the way this whole thing unfolded in light of last week.
Yeah, well, I do think that these players, at least I hope, understand that, this all starts with the fans. This all starts with the fans booing and chanting, fire Tomlin.
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah, right. But then I do understand their perspective on this because you do have a lot of the big national networks that we talk about so much on this channel about how they just took that and ran with it and just talked about it all week, talked about it ad nauseum, to the point where players are then having to answer questions about it throughout the week. And yeah, that kind of irked them. And Cam Hayward spoke about it after the game, and here's what he had to say about it.
We didn't do it for him. I think it's just the outside noise is outside noise. We keep it out there in-house. It's pretty harmonious because we understand we all got to be better. We own that, and we're accountable. And I think when you approach a game like this, it's a game where you can either look in the mirror and say, "How can I be better?" or you're falling flat in your face. So I thought a lot of guys do that today.
Guys, there can't be a bigger nightmare in the betting world than Steelers versus Ravens, and this has been true for years. On the other hand, maybe you can just go with history, meaning 30 straight years of history. All of these games, whether they're played here or back home, end up right in that same scoring range. This one had a point spread of 5.5. The Steelers, now in the Ravens' favor,
yeah.
The Steelers end up winning it by 5. if you ever go outside that range and it's these two teams, have yourself checked in somewhere. It's not okay. It is time also to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals, because that'll help you on the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you think the Steelers are now going to get onto a little bit of a run here, and they kind of talked about that a little bit downstairs, lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, the FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials so that you can join in on all of the action.
Yeah. I think, listen, it would have been a hard bet for me. 6, I think it ended up being -6 right before the game. That's a lot for this rivalry. It almost doesn't matter what the team's records
Makes no
are.
sense.
It does not matter.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Regardless of your affiliation, which team you're pulling for or whatever, to have a spread like that, it doesn't make sense. Look, we saw the Bills game too, but we also have watched 30 years of this. And this is how this goes.
Yeah.
Now, how this goes and how this went was not acceptable. All right? I'm not going to speak for Chris, but my feeling is this was not okay. I mean, they got their result. They got their first place. They're fourth in the AFC and all that other stuff that we had talked about during the week that could come from this. The offense did some good things, and we're going to get to that in a minute. The way this defense performed, Mike Tomlin tried to assign some of that, and it's fair to an extent to attrition. They were losing people. He expressed, he didn't use this word, but it sounded like abject terror at the fact that Patrick Queen might not have been able to come back into the game.
Yeah.
And from his injury. Now, PQ was in. They had the headset out there on Peyton Wilson. PQ said he was begging to come back in for 2 or 3 plays. He said, not that I don't trust Peyton, but I gotta get out there.
Can I talk about PQ really quick? Because there's a lot of angst from fans about PQ, that he hasn't lived up to the contract or anything like this. You can never question this dude's toughness anymore. You really, really can't. When he got injured on the field today, it was literally the injury that he already had, that he fought throughout the week, had a helmet hit him right where he was injured, to the point where he couldn't feel anything and he couldn't move.
Other than that, he was fine.
Other than that, though, no, he wants to compete. He wants to be out there.
You need people like that on your team.
You do.
He's not a perfect player.
Yeah.
He's not Roquan Smith. Okay, for those who want to re-engage in that whole thing back when the PQ signing occurred. He's not that. But my goodness, I saw him, I laid eyes on him, and I said, did you survive that? And he goes, like this. And then, here, hold this for a second.
Yeah.
And then he does this as he's walking away like this. And I go, that doesn't look like survival. And he goes, That's where he was. The defense still, you can't you can't make excuses when it's the same things happening at the same positions. Okay.
Yeah.
This team needs Derek Harmon back. This is another 200 yards on the ground. This team, oh boy, where do you even start? Again, everything downstairs just now was so positive that's the last thing that's in my head.
Right.
But when you think about the 50-yard runs and Keanu Benton just getting shrugged off in the middle, I don't know what's happened to him. I have a hard time picking on any one individual because you see these things occurring again and again and again. And then at the same time, there were probably a couple of positives in there as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, it's going to be talked about, not just after this game, but probably for at least a couple of days, if not all week, about the catch that wasn't with Isaiah Likely in the end zone that would have put the Ravens ahead. Joey Porter Jr. continues to fight through it, and
didn't have to.
No, didn't have to. I mean, he continues to fight through it, knocks the ball out, and it turns out that knocking the ball out exactly when he did, because if it's any later, it's a touchdown. Because
if it's a split second later,
because the referee
could have been one anyway.
The referee said that all of the criteria was met for a catch,
except for the third foot.
Except for the third foot, or what would be constituted as a football move, which a third foot would have been. And that ball comes out, like I said, just a split second later. The third foot's down. It's a touchdown. He fights through it. That keeps the touchdown off the board. The Steelers maintain the lead, and then obviously Alex Highsmith wins it at the end, or secures the win with the sack at the end too.
And there are other players within that as well. A guy that I kept kind of bumping Chris about today was Y.A. Black.
Yeah,
I liked what we think of him. Per the stuff from Latrobe and everything, as just the giant body overwhelming people. That's not what he did today. He was shedding blocks. He was moving left to right. He had one time he missed Derrick Henry and was just you could see just emotionally just slamming himself out there because he expects himself to make that play.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to turn this into one player here, but something has to be done about Benton. If you're getting good production out of Black and then you get Harmon healthy, let's not be overthinking this. Until you're stopping the run, nothing else matters. And this team's just not stopping the run.
No, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the games this season in which Harmon has missed.
I've seen the numbers on that.
They've been horrible against the run.
Yeah.
And when he's played, they've been either really, really good or they've been, like you said, reasonable. It's not been that. It's not been what happened against the Bills,
And then here's another positive here, and it's that the defense held 3 times. The Ravens were in the red zone. Did they get in the red zone there at the end? No. Okay, so they were in the red zone 5 times. They had to settle for 3 field goals. I asked Mike Tomlin about that after the game.
Mike, what can you say about the defense? I know it wasn't obviously what you wanted overall, but you did hold them to 3 field goals.
Man, I'm just appreciative, man. We had to start having linebackers go down. That period of time when Patrick Cream was unavailable to us was uncomfortable. But that's just the component of it. That's why it's the ultimate team game. I'm just appreciative of the collective efforts.
Offensively, I know it didn't go the way everybody would have wanted it in the second half, and I'm 100% sure that Rodgers didn't want to throw that, whatever that thing was, that interception, self-reception, whatever. He did say afterward that he didn't even have any intent on trying to catch that football. All he wanted to do was to bat it down. He couldn't.
Yeah.
Because there was just too much mayhem around him. And then as he goes down into the pile, he said there was all kinds of bad stuff happening down there. That's football.
Yeah.
But the worst of the stuff was that somebody was really on his left wrist, the one with the fracture. And I'll tell you what, I give him credit, Chris. I thought this was his best performance since
Cincinnati? In Cincy?
Possibly. I was going to go Indianapolis, even maybe. I mean, I thought let's put it this way.
Yeah.
These were the dimes we were seeing early in the season, okay, in the opening month. These were the dimes we were seeing back in Latrobe. So as much as I didn't like, and I admit this even though it's going to sound pretty stupid, I didn't like that they just kept going deep. This was 3rd and 1. What did they do?
They went deep.
They went deep.
Yeah.
It was 2nd and something. What did they do?
They went deep.
They went deep.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf said after the game that this was a known thing. They started this on Monday. They wanted to attack this defense, this Baltimore defense, deep. They felt like they could pull it off. They didn't say that. I mean, that's obviously why you do it. And hey, they got it done. But where Rodgers was concerned, his accuracy, his poise, his leadership, his everything.
Yeah, and listen, it was a combination of yes. I mean, you don't complete those deep balls unless they're thrown very well, and they were thrown very well. They weren't overthrown. They weren't underthrown. They were placed where they needed to be, and it was varying types. It wasn't just, hey, it's an over the shoulder. There was one that he just kind of missed a little bit on the back shoulder to Metcalf, but still a couple downfield to Metcalf. The one to Austin.
Yes.
The one where he then rolled. It was the first
roll to the left.
Yeah, the first play. The first play of the second half rolls out. I mean, that's what I would call vintage Rodgers.
And he went deep to a bunch of guys. He went deep to Calvin Austin on what was one of the more significant plays of the entire game.
Yeah.
I thought, here's what Cal had to say about that.
Sometimes it's a matter of, taking what the defense gives you, and sometimes it's a matter of, forcing the defense to get in certain looks where you can take advantage of. And I think it was just a combination of both. Us basically forcing them to be in certain coverages where we knew we would get man-to-man and everything. So I think we just, obviously just trying to be aggressive and attack.
But there was another variable to Rodgers' game.
Yeah.
And that's that he moved. And he moved really well.
Yeah.
This wasn't, we can talk about the touchdown. The touchdown really wasn't about that. Let's talk about the touchdown first.
Okay. So the touchdown, and Calvin, I don't know if Aaron did or not, but I was talking with Calvin Austin, and he said after the game that was not a planned play.
No, it was to Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, it was not a planned play. He was trying to get to Jonnu. Jonnu was covered and
stumbled.
And covered and stumbled and covered some more. And so Aaron just improvises and he rolls out. And thankfully, the Ravens have all their bigs on the field, and even a 42-year-old can outrun at least those guys.
He said that he looked – this is great. And this is – you talk about his awareness, his field awareness and everything.
Yeah.
But he saw Jonnu stumble. He knew that part of the play was dead.
Yeah.
Off to the right, Darnell Washington went over there, was completely covered.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no separation.
No, nothing.
The next thing Aaron did was he just looked. He goes, and he said this. I can get away from a couple of 300-pounders. I can do that. Yeah. And he did, and you could tell that it wasn't even like max acceleration.
Yeah.
So it's not even the touchdown. I thought his ability to do these duck under, you know what I'm talking about, where you thought they had him?
Yeah.
And he was able to get away the pass that we just referenced, the against his body, to Metcalf to open the second half.
Yeah.
He was terrific. I could not help but take something of a friendly jab at him in the press conference afterward.
You still feeling as, I don't want to use the word nimble here, but you moved around pretty well in this game. And there have been other times this season. Do you still feel like that's something that you feed off when you can pull it off?
Yeah, some games you feel better than others. I was just telling the lineman, you'll understand this when you're 40. Some days you feel better than others. Wake up and there's no specific reason why, Thinking what did I do last night? Did I sleep wrong or whatever? But some days you feel great. Other days you feel maybe just good. Today I felt great. Maybe because it got such a beautiful grass field. But I felt good moving around there. And then to be able to run that touchdown, it's been a long time there. There was in no way the play at all. It was a play to Jonnu, and the whole left side just caved in. I started running and realized I had two larger humans chasing me that maybe was equal to or slightly faster than. So that was nice to get the end zone.
Now, the best part of that is the press conference ends, and as he's walking out the door, he turns around and he looks at me and he goes, "Nimble." Which was just amazing.
Yeah. He likes to have his fun, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was in good spirits afterward. And that remark is going to end up, the one about the shut the hell up or whatever, is going to get a lot of play. I sure hope that everyone gives it the context that we do, or, just makes clear how the whole thing went. That's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
Because a lot of the people who talk about the team aren't people who cover the team.
Yeah, they're not in Pittsburgh.
They're not in Baltimore either when Pittsburgh is in Baltimore.
Right.
So he's in a good frame of mind. I got the sense that everybody else felt like this one was going to be results-oriented. And I understand that, and I can respect that. The game, Metcalf said this, the game was, we understood what was at stake here. He kept saying that again and again to multiple questions. We understood what was at stake here. What was it that had you guys motivated? That was it. It was one team is 6-6, the other 6-6. One of them is going to end up in first place, and maybe this can function as a reset button for them.
Yeah, and Cam was asked about it after the game. Talking about you still gave up over 200 yards. He wasn't not saying that he was satisfied with that. No defensive player is satisfied with giving up that many rushing yards.
Can't be.
But at the same time, these games right here, these Steelers-Ravens games, I remember going back to the 2008 season when the Steelers won the Super Bowl, and the big thing out of that game that I remember, the one right here in this stadium, was style points don't matter. That was the thing that Tomlin
Not
kept
with these
saying.
two teams.
And it really is the case. You have to just win. Just win. It almost does. It can be the ugliest win as long as you get that W. As long as you end up with more points on the scoreboard than they do.
Yep.
That's really all this team cares about. And honestly, that's all that team cares about
Yeah,
too.
it's the same. And for the people, and I count probably about 70,000 of them who were in here just a little while ago who believe that this game was decided by a lousy call or whatever else or whatever. If you're a more experienced Baltimore fan, just like if you're a more experienced Pittsburgh fan, you're going to understand that's just this series.
Yeah.
I say this a lot, but this isn't a rivalry. This is an arch rivalry. There's only one arch rivalry that any team can have. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And that's a large part of why the games end up this tight. That's a large part of why 5 players from the Steelers were concussed. Yeah. Tomlin sounded, and he usually doesn't when he talks about injuries, but he sounded a little extra concerned.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of different guys. Darnell was the most prominent among them.
He hit the ground hard.
It was his head to the ground.
Yeah.
Malik Harrison, I don't want to talk about what that looked like.
That looked bad.
Other guys, Andres Pete, who left the Steelers with virtually no remaining tackles because Calvin Anderson was out. Of course, Broderick Jones is out.
And he's out for another 2 more games, by the way. He cannot come back for another 2 games at least.
Dylan Cook's your starting left tackle. When Tomlin mentions attrition, first off, it's rare. Second, it's probably to be taken seriously. It's not an excuse.
No.
They had to fight through some stuff in this game. They fought through it. They won. Highsmith made a really, 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 really big play.
Yeah, he did, and he made a few plays.
He was good
throughout the game. I mean, he had a couple of stops against the run, and we know what Alex can do against the run. He's a good pass rusher too, obviously, but the reason why he's out there over Nick Herbig the majority of the time is because of what he can do against the run, and he showed it today. But yeah, he's also still a really good pass rusher. This is a guy who's at one point had 14.5 sacks in a season in which T.J. Watt didn't play half the season.
Yeah.
So, no, he's still a good pass rusher, and he gave the Steelers the play they needed when they needed it the most.
Guys, we're heading back to Pittsburgh, and we'll be joining you again tomorrow afternoon for a double shot of Steelers. Also, first ever double shot of Penguins will be coming right after it. We'll be talking about Penguins in Dallas and their 3-game road trip and all that other stuff. See you then.